Alrighty, what color are we going to go for MbL? I guess we're going to go yellow for MbL. It makes more sense for me. Guys, we have another set here, just making sure the scoreboard looks nice and tasty. This is actually the first play all three in round 1 of Group D. So this should not say Group B. It is Group D. Predictions are flying in chat. And this should be an interesting set. Because in Group D, let me see if I remember it. We have MbL, we have ACCM, we have Nikov, we have Tato, we have Bad Boy, and I'm forgetting someone. You're going to have to forgive me. There's one player I'm missing, but it's a big name. Tato, Nikov, ACCM, MbL, Bad Boy. There's another one. Chat's going to help me, but there's a lot of good players. Now, that is the case with all the groups, of course. And we have even seen instances, Dogal, thank you. We have even seen instances where one of those players who many people expect to get relegated have actually had a very strong opening to the whole event. I look at MbL and I see a player who has insane talent, but is notorious for not preparing as much, is notorious for maybe being a little slow to start. So we'll see how he plays. And also, if you want to take other factors into consideration, I think also, busy with work and all that as well. So, you have all these different factors. ACCM is one of our very few full-time Age of Empires 2 players. I think ACCM, he's going to smell some blood in the water here. He knows it won't be easy, and he's chosen to go for the Mongols. I'm not sure about the choice of the Mongols here. This is fortified clearing. There's no opening. There's no walls in the backside, so we could see some type of aggression there. Mongols are obviously a fantastic post-imp civilization, but something I pointed out in the previous cast is there's not a lot of stone back here, guys. You have this stone, and then there's always a 4-tile stone outside your walls. You would have to wall up, and you'd have to check the other corners to get more stone. So I guess it'd be the left corner where he could get more stone. Yeah, we'll see. Long series ahead. We've been stacking this back to back to back. Unspoilered Rex. Do not check Liquipedia for anything because it may show some results, all right? And I'm trying to talk to Liquipedia people about this because, all these games have been played within the last, 10 hours. It's not like it was 3 days ago. I personally don't think there's any reason that for Platinum League we should have that updated immediately if I'm casting it soon after. I mean, I'm not going to be able to cover every single one. But it kind of sucks when you guys might go to Liquipedia for every single one if there might be spoilers for the results. So just don't look. Just like me here. MbL doing that something I mentioned earlier and just placing his houses here. Which tells me he probably wants to boom. If you're going to need houses, just place your houses as part of a wall. Makes sense to me. Does have his wood upgrade in already. And his choice of Burgundians is a pretty standard pick for people on this type of map. Already has his wood upgrade in. And that's something only the Burgundians can do. So, yeah, I get it. If you already did it, just stick with me. Watch the games, please, and no spoilers. Because we will be banning spoilers, so. I actually would be really, 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 really upset if there was a spoiler. You don't want to see me really, really upset, okay? It's not pretty. So, Mongols, a civilization you've seen on maps where there's a lot of early game opportunities, a lot of early hunt, like Serengeti. We have another map that we haven't seen Mongols picked yet on. Oh, MbL could lose this Vil. Can he quick wall it in? Can he quick wall this in? Big moment in the game. MbL, first game of the series. Trying. ACCM blocking. MbL loses the villager, and oh, that's so heartbreaking for him. He was one palisade off there, guys. One palisade off. He could have quick walled it, but I guess he didn't notice. And he is now down a villager, and I'm sure he's frustrated by that too. Also, what's important is ACCM also didn't take a hit on his scout. So sometimes if you know you're going to lose your Vil, the best thing to do is at least attack the scout, because then your scout can chase it back. That's not going to be the case. But again, ACCM picked Mongols. Not a civ you see here every day. And he now knows MbL is going to wall. So what is this? Guys, we have 900 HP walls on the front, okay? 900 HP walls, whereas on Arena, it's 1800 HP. And in the previous set, we saw players go for tower rushing and attacking on those walls. We have a wall here from ACCM. If I were him, I would just assume MbL is booming, but obviously you don't know 100%. He's rushing feudal, which makes me think he's going to go forward, and he hasn't gone forward. Anyone else really confused? He can't go fast castle on this. He didn't push these 2 deer because he was going forward with the scout. Okay, now he's going forward. Okay. Does feel like he's going to arrive to the walls a little late. He's going to loop his scout all the way around. It takes a while, but there he goes. Barracks and 4 villagers. So I guess it's going to be archers and towers. Now, last time we saw this, the Burgundian player lost. But what I was saying was I actually think it's pretty good for the Burgundians if you just try and keep them in feudal age. I think MbL sees that uptime and he's like, huh? It's kind of like that old noise. If you guys ever watched Home Improvement back in the day. I'm not really even aging myself because I was such a young kid when I watched that. But my family used to watch Home Improvement. It's like that weird transitional audio. It's like, huh? You know what I'm talking about? Anyways, someone's going to know. Other people are not. But that's MbL right now. He's like, wait, what? Why is he up? And he's not attacking? He's not doing anything? And, okay, now he sees this. Okay, so the idea, though, like, I'm not a big fan of how ACCM's open because the idea is to be hitting these walls right away and placing his tower right away. So this is delayed. He didn't run forward in time, but MbL is going to have to respect this. And so MbL just walls behind. Will be important for MbL to maybe scout other stones, guys, because he won't be able to comfortably take any stone. There is stone on the outside, but does he know that? Has he looked at the map? Did he run a bunch of generations? Has he practiced? I'm going to guess no, no, and no. But I would also assume that he's going to be able to figure this out without the stone. And that he probably is going to end up buying it if he needs it. You guys know what I'm talking about. Awesome, man. Yeah, Tim Allen. Good stuff. Sometimes I'll just make that noise, and it reminds me of that show from growing up. So what's nice here, if you're ACCM, is you're untouched. So MbL cannot counterattack you right now. I guess what's not so nice is that MbL's in feudal working off of the wood upgrade from Castle Age, and that's something you just can't avoid anyways. So maybe the thought process is, well, at least do something to him. MbL can place 1 tower. Let's see where he places it. He's going to place it there. MbL doesn't have loom. MbL doesn't have loom. MbL does not have loom. MbL, you need loom. MbL, loom. Loom. MbL, loom. Oh, man, he's a lucky boy. He does Q loom after that Vill. And we are going to see a tower war here, but it will delay the wood line. It will delay MbL's farms. I think this is good for ACCM. Let's see. He needs to hop into his tower and now run away. And MbL will not be able, as he's added a spearman. He's going to hop out here. He's going to try and kill that scout. He loves his spears. Yep, there it is. ACCM knew it, though. Yeah. I don't know. MbL's actually okay. He will add skirms behind to kill the archer now, too. So really good work from him to mix in a few counter units. Kills the archer. Obviously needs to bring the spearman back, but added another spearman. Wow, so just full trash for MbL. Meanwhile, ACCM's got fletching. He's just walling up, taking his deer. And he has to play this whole hop in and out of tower game. But the idea is MbL can only repair his tower until he's out of stone. So let's see. Does he know that if there's any more stone out here? I mean, again, scouting a huge thing here. He sees this stone. I think MbL's going to try and wall in this range or something. He seems like he does not know what to do. Oh, he's going to attack this. He's brought his skirms over to maybe pick off archers. His other tower is actually ranging the archers here from ACCM. So great job from MbL. He actually batters down the tower. And this was his plan. This was his plan. Skirmishers for the archers. Villagers for the towers. I don't care how many towers you can build, ACCM. You are not building them on my property without a permit. Oh my god, this was such a sick play from MbL. I thought that he was searching for stone, but no, he just did a little loop-de-loop here. And I do think his resources are hurting right now. You know, he's had to pull a lot of villagers, but still, there's potential for kills. ACCM was able to kill 3 villagers. And MbL could now kill 4. Yep, villagers are starting to die. MbL could always lose more as well because Fletching's in. He does lose another one. ACCM's archer, though, shouldn't do much. If this was Arabia, ACCM would have scouts right now. But I think since MbL can just run behind his walls, you don't want to add that. And yeah, in the end, it's going to be 4 villagers killed for both. And we'll just have to compare what the uptimes are and how the rest of the game develops. But it could be a pretty good game here. The Norwegian building code is a nightmare. Yeah, and those house prices. Oh my word. But yeah, that was really good because I was concerned that he wouldn't be able to win the tower war. Now, he can just take his stone. Both players have lost their scouts too, by the way. In the end for ACCM, not a fan of the marketplace. That would be a good spot for farms. I think he's going to try and rush up to the next stage. And most likely, MbL will be using the market as well. After a messy feudal age, market is a great way to stabilize. I think the castle age times will actually be pretty darn close here. Now, let me see something. Okay, so I don't know how exactly. It probably was another unit or building got destroyed. But ACCM has actually been able to notice there's a mining camp there. He doesn't know how much or how many villagers are there, but I think we're going to see unique units from both players. I don't think walling the archer range makes sense. I think ACCM is never going to make more archers since MbL has skirms with fletching. Especially if you're going to drop a castle in the front, I don't think it's needed. I understand what you're saying, though. Probably more worth it, Morning Sunshine, if you don't have walls and it's more open map like Arabia. Total KD 15-8 there for MbL. So did kill a lot of units. Both on the way up. ACCM adding a stable. Probably just for one night would be my guess. And maybe even a scout, because look at this. He's made a gate, and he's thinking about the outer ring now. 2 relics on each side of the outer ring, so 4 total, and then there's 5 relics in the middle of the map. MbL getting all of his mining upgrades. Again, Burgundian ecotechs are discounted, and you can get them an age earlier. And he's going to do the same thing. He's going to send 1 archer, though. So 1 archer versus 1 scout, the scout would win. All in favor of this map, say pumpernickel in chat, because I really like how this is developing. We wouldn't be talking about the scouting on the outside as much if the walls were on the back. Like if there was stone walls on the back, you'd talk about relics. But honestly, now that I think about it, the old version didn't even have relics on the outside. I think, and I'm biased because it was my decision, and Krazzini did help. I would give Krazzini credit, but I actually really like this, man. I think it's cool. MbL is just going to drop the castle here. He's going for a monastery, so he will focus more towards the center. Repositioning his skirms, just in case there was more than 1 archer in there. And I would expect MbL to boom. Should have pretty incredible economy. Also, the unit he's about to make is also great for map control in the middle. ACCM will see that with his range, and now he will drop his own castle here. And I would expect him to boom as well. Love how he has 100 stone right now. I love how he has the stone already for the town center. I also love the scouting, of course. And I love the monastery. Both players realizing relics are important. ACCM did add a knight, which unfortunately I don't think is going to have a big impact here, but I can see what he was thinking. I guess having that's helpful. If MbL would have come over with skirms, MbL could have maybe disrupted the castles, so. And also very interesting TC position for ACCM, so it's outside of his little walls. Did MbL actually make it over there with an archer, by the way? Cav archer? I guess he doesn't have a stable, and he wants a fast unit. Wait, did he have a cav archer on the other side as well? Oh my god, he's going archer, cav archer on the other side. I think he only did it not because he thinks cav archers are necessarily good, but just because it's more helpful than an archer, and he doesn't feel like sending any of his other units over there. That's a creative move, actually. I like it. It makes sense. He'll run into some units, some buildings over here. MbL working his way towards the second relic right now. ACCM, his issue here is going to be the economy. And I hate that town center with a ever-burning passion. Oh my god. That town center is just asking for trouble. Oh, he kills the monk. Wow, MbL is going to be like, what? How did that happen? Hey guys, that town center is most likely because he wants stone. But there's a town center here that could work. I don't like this position of the TC. I feel like it's just asking for trouble. MbL able to kill a monk of his own there. Still on 2 relics. 0 for ACCM. And MbL just over here attacking. Just annoying ACCM. That castle irks me. It hurts me. It hurts my soul. Or not castle, sorry, the TC. Especially against MbL, who loves the siege pushes. Not that you would really do that against Mongols. Look at MbL, guys. The pros are learning. Last year, I remember talking to Hera, and he was like, no, Fervor's stupid. You should never research Fervor. Fervor for monk speed. I like it. It's going to be a long game. It's very important. That's something that the low elo players focus on that maybe the pros don't do as much. Faster monks. Meaning you can get the relics on the sides as well. It's a good decision. That knight did get a lot of value. And that knight still continues to survive here. It's Fervor for Vil speed. No, it's not Silverdog. You're confusing Burgundians with the Bohemians. But good shout there. Unless MbL... Maybe MbL doesn't even know. Maybe MbL thinks the same thing you're thinking. And he also has it wrong, and that's why he's researched Fervor. MbL's making a monastery over here with a villager. 2 villagers, actually. An interesting choice. 63 villagers for ACCM, 50 for MbL, who really focused on the military front. Now going for another range. He's worried about Mangadai, so I guess he wants to have more skirms out. And he does have plenty, so... Great awareness from MbL. He just lost his archer, so now he knows to back off with the cav archer. But he is going to lose this villager. And ACCM will actually see this as well. And MbL knows it's going to be spotted. So MbL is now going to place monastery there. Bit of a weird choice for me. I don't love that. ACCM will just get walls down. This could lead to MbL looping around with some units. There he goes. ACCM also running over there. Now, there is actually a hole here, and ACCM sees that now. And MbL had a decision to make there. He thought about converting the scout, but he could also lose the monk, so he just runs home with that relic. And, oh, God, this is going to be a really important moment in the game. 60% on this castle for ACCM. His Mangadai are on the left side. And here comes MbL. He saw the town center. He knows how important that area is. So he waltzes forward with the castle to no one's surprise. Okay? No one should be surprised by that. I said it the second he made the TC. This is important. And guys, he thought he could complete this. And he thought he could go imp. Can he actually complete this castle? Because MbL's castle is about to go up. He will shoot the villagers. Disaster for ACCM. His Vil count is now gone. He can click up to imp. But yikes, man. That is so painful for him. And that's a 90% too. So that's close enough where he might actually go out there to try and complete this. And MbL now has 2 castles to produce these units. And I think MbL is just going to continue to push and attack here. Also, Villager gets converted once. And then he refuses to go back to the other side. So he commits suicide. MbL does not want this castle to go up. I feel bad for ACCM, because if he would have gone out with a couple more villagers, his castle goes up. He's on his way to imp. He probably has a villager lead. He's making Mangadai, which is obviously a great thing. But the good news is if he trebs this castle down, he can then finish this castle. The castle's still so close. Oh my god, MbL's making petards against it, though. MbL's making petards. Also, ACCM's imp TC is right here. Now, the reason why is because he was focused, but my goodness, dude. Maybe you need to rethink your choices of town centers in the future, ACCM. Honestly, though, guys, think about it. If that town center was not there, but here, where he's already on stone, and then his castle wasn't forward, but it was here, you know, like somewhat defensive, he'd have Mangadai numbers, he'd be an imp faster, and he'd be in a really good spot economically compared to MbL. So I think the decision to go for the town center and the castle in this position was really what's hurting him here. MbL's ready. If villagers show up, MbL is ready. ACCM does not want this castle to ever get destroyed. And we might even see the villagers make a run for it here. He's going in against skirms, which is never ideal, and castle fire, which is never ideal. This is so painful. MbL must love his position right now. And he's repairing the ram! That's what ACCM was trying to kill. He's lost all his Mangadai. Maybe he didn't see the villager there. Now, a trebuchet is going to come out for ACCM. MbL is prepared for that, though. He's making the Coustier, making a lot of them. Still has a few upgrades he could research there. Good wall from ACCM, because he knew MbL could attack. But what you would want is multiple castles, tons of Mangadai. None of this ACCM has. An eco lead. Nope, not anymore. MbL also 5 relics. Looking for more on this side. He could end up with 7. ACCM, though, with the smart thinking, he knows MbL will likely die for the trebs. So he's trying his best to wall this up. Let's see how MbL treats this. Also, ACCM lost 650 stone. He never deleted that. Would have only got like 100 stone back, if even. MbL's got plenty of stone. He's repairing. He's waiting. The only thing I could be critical of MbL of right now is he did not get some of his blacksmith upgrades that would help the units he's making. The skirms are good. But, you know, this armor upgrade is something I believe he thought he had. And now he has to wait for that, which is just Castle Age. And then he has to wait for the Imp one. And he wants to take engagements with the Imp one. So that'll take some time. Villagers from ACCM heading over here, getting attacked by the Cav Archers. MbL wants to drop a castle on this hill. And then we have a castle over here for ACCM. So, very safe castle. As he is still massing Mangadai. He stopped with 3 trebs. I think this is fully walled up. I can't tell about this side, though. It's very hard for me as a caster to see if there's a hole there. Yo, kind of running out of stone, especially if he continues forward with this castle. I don't think MbL noticed ACCM was taking this gold. In theory, if ACCM takes this castle out, he could just bring his trebs back over and deal with this castle. So I don't love this castle, but the idea from MbL is, I'm going to attack you from all sides. What are you going to do about it? And I do like that. And yeah, he'll lose his castle now. Guys, there's only 10 Mangadai. 10. That's not good enough. Also, 22 on food. 24. He's adding more. The upgrades aren't going to be there. I think you would need to have elite Mangadai, and I think 40 is the magic number. But 10 is so rough. MbL's got so many. And oh, God, the gates are open. Pack them up, pack them up, pack them up, pack them up. Lock the gate. No, Hodor. MbL's through. And he has his own trebuchets. The Mangadai are going to go down. Oh, man. ACCM. This area right here, if you could just delete this area off the map, it would have been an amazing game. A game he would probably have won. And maybe not probably. We would have seen, right? But this area, this spot is just disastrous for him. Big shots there on the skirmishers, though. But all that matters to MbL is that he continues to take out the castles from the Mongols. Because if the Mongols don't have castles, it's Burgundians all the way from there. And ACCM chose to take the forward stone. Had his castle denied, and ever since it's been MbL who's had the control. Trying his best here in game number 1 to get the victory. But MbL is adding skirms, MbL is adding Coustier, and MbL is going to also pressure on this side. He was able to spot the villagers on the gold. ACCM will have nothing on this side. And the pressure from MbL just continues through the middle. It doesn't have to be pretty. With the economy this good, it doesn't have to be pretty. The Mangadai, though, they have to hit and run micro all the time. And you've only got 1 castle to produce them out of. I mean, he can't even produce them right now because he has to micro. So imagine how this is going to go. And yeah, the GG's called. Bit of a shame for ACCM. I really wonder how this game goes if he doesn't place that town center. I think that was a big mistake. Let me just go to a... Okay, right here, right here. At this point, he's on 2 town centers. Good eco upgrades. Good eco balance. Everything, right? MbL's on 1. So, you know, once we progressed past this point by a couple more minutes, ACCM had a 15 villager lead. The only downside was that MbL was getting more relics. I think if this TC goes here, which I assume he just didn't think of because he did have it scouted, I think this game goes entirely different. I think the big reason he places that castle here in the first place, which ended up getting denied, is because it needs to protect his TC. MbL clearly was going to castle drop that. So this town center, he wanted on a stone because there's limited stone on this map in your actual base. So I like the thought process, but just the wrong position. And then maybe it's a completely different game. And then maybe ACCM can get the win. It was a great game from both players, but MbL, the second he saw the town center, knew what he needed to do. It was great defense from MbL. We forgot about Feudal Age. Feudal Age was fantastic from MbL. What was it, 15 kills and 8 deaths? Great start for him to the series. And let's go over, I think, to what will be Arena next. So MbL will have another closed map that he has to play against ACCM. ACCM has heard the memes, but MbL's pretty good on Arena, even though he doesn't love it. Guys, look at what civilization MbL has chosen here for game number 2. I'm not that surprised at ACCM's choice. ACCM playing as the Britons. We had a little conversation earlier in another cast about which civilizations would be top 5 or top 6 on Arena, and Britons was in that conversation. But another one that was in that conversation is the Teutons for MbL. Cheaper farms, amazing siege, castles with crazy range, tanky paladins, great infantry. But can the Teutons deal with that archer range? I think this might be the first time we've seen Siege Onager in the entire event so far. Obviously, we're very early. This is the first round. Huge for both players to get started on the right foot because it's only going to be top-tier talent against them every week. But I'm excited. Now, is there also a chance that since the players are close together, MbL wants to go Siege in Monk? I think so. He may scout the walls here in a second and then know that his opponent's pretty close. But you have 1800 HP walls. So we will not see what we saw in the previous game where a player can try and batter through. The expectation is fast castle here, but then the question is what strategy is going to be chosen and what's the execution going to look like. Also, chat, what does the minimap look like? With these two wood lines, I guess I'll show you in the minimap here and here. It makes it interesting, man. Nice little face. Got some legs there. I don't know exactly what you'd call it, but... Flavio, I think that the Britons do counter the Teutons in some ways, but anytime a Civ is going Siege Onager, it can be really tricky for Britons. In theory, Britons have 12 range longbows, and they can micro down the Siege Onagers, but that's easier said than done. And also, I think if Teutons could maybe get some Siege Knight Monk rolling on a map with forward stones and golds. It's a ghost? It's a Pac-Man ghost? Okay. I think Teutons can do well. Yeah, Teutons tend to thrive against civilizations that are going to be going more towards infantry and cav. Not so much against Britons. I think even Teutons would be better against Malay or any other archer civ, but I think Britons is the one that makes it complicated because of all that range. It's a Geodude. It looks a little different than a Geodude. I know what you mean, though. Arena can sometimes give the Geodude maps. That's what we used to call a lot of the generations back in the day. This one looks a bit different. So I would choose Britons if I had to, you know, choose one of these civilizations, but obviously it does depend. MbL, did he scout the walls? He scouted the walls. MbL is known to... Okay, he might not be known, but in my opinion, I think MbL is the best Monk Siege player in the game. If he wanted to be full clown and play Arena and go full monks, I think he'd be the best. We saw in Battle of Africa. He's the only player who has, I think it's called a Razor Naga. That's what I have. So anyways, there's hotkeys where your thumb goes on the mouse. And there's 12 of them. And he uses every single one. Like, I honestly think one of his is to cycle through TCs. It's on his mouse. No one else does that at a high level. And you can see that come into play when he's microing monks, because 5 units will show up. He'll have 5 monks, and it's boom, 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 boom onto all the units. And I guess if I were scared of that, you could go scouts if you're ACCM. You could also justify, especially with things being a little more closed off, maybe opening with an archer range and spearmen, which sometimes people will do. Yeah, I say this every time. I actually have those hotkeys, but I cannot do that. I tried it, and I just can't. If I put any pressure on the left side of my mouse kind of goes this way a little bit. Even just like a tiny bit. I don't understand. Oh, wow. Apparently that button does something. Wow. Okay. Whoa. Whoa. I've got hotkeys. All right. Wow. Maybe that's how I have to practice. But yeah, that's really awkward for me. Whoa, 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 whoa. MbL's up? Wait a second. Okay. Is he going to tower rush? Does he know the walls have 1800 HP? 21 pop. Feels like he was going to tower rush. And the walls have 1800 HP on arena. Now, he just got tower rushed. So, in his mind, he might be thinking, oh, yeah, that was actually a pretty decent strat, and I could do that against the Britons. Who do you think the best clown player, both past and present? I suppose best clown was Eddie. Well, Eddie was true clown for sure, because Eddie went, like, 3 farms the whole game. I think Eddie, even if he wasn't technically the best, I think from a legend standpoint, you'd have to say Eddie. I think MbL might also be trying a tower hop here. This is weird. It doesn't look like he's actually going to build the tower now. I think he might just go for eco upgrades. Is he just trying to mind game his opponent? Like, this is going to take forever for him to get through. I don't even think ACCM needs to palisade behind. And it's just 1 villager as well, with the scout. Yeah, MbL just goes for his wood upgrade and his farm upgrade, and he's going to go up now. This is very weird. I mean, ACCM has had to pull a villager off of berries, but this would just take far too long. He's 1/18th of the way there. Now MbL is just going to run home. Very weird. Very weird. I don't know what that really comes down to. I think that could come down to lack of preparation, and maybe he realized too late. Huh. My cycle TC hotkey is clicking the mouse scroll wheel. I find it very efficient. Interesting. Yeah, I use scroll wheel for going to idle villagers. I scroll down for idols. I hold shift and scroll down to select all idols. I scroll up for military idols. I scroll up to... So actually, I don't know if I have... I never use select all military. I never use that for idols, so I don't know. Yeah, I mean, mind game's a little bit for MbL. But even though his eco is going to be looking quite solid when he makes it to Castle Age, this is going to lead to a pretty late Castle Age. At the end of the day, what it comes down to with hotkeys is what's best for you and what's the most efficient. And I think MbL at one point actually tried to remove the hotkeys off of his mouse, and he just didn't like it. Ooh, scouts are fighting. The blue player always wins. That was just a theory of mine. I always say something, and sometimes I'm right and sometimes I'm wrong. It was a 50-50 fight. And now MbL has no vision over the map. He will have a late-ish Castle Age. And ACCM, cheaper TCs with Britons, will have archers for map control. I think if I were him, I would just simply get the relics and boom. I wouldn't be too worried about being aggressive. Yeah, Viper always wins those. He actually didn't the other day, though. So I don't know. I used to think he had a secret, but... Maybe it is the color yellow. Technically, MbL didn't pick yellow. I set him on yellow because the color he would choose would be tough for people who are colorblind. Which I try and be mindful of. But yeah, I like the archer range opening. I would like to see a spear with it. But he might not need the spear if he doesn't think MbL is going to go for scouts. Obviously, MbL lost the scout. But yeah, just kind of an unimpressive opening for MbL so far. In some ways, ACCM didn't play to his full potential in the previous game. MbL happy to get a win. But I would love ACCM's position. Normally it's a Monastery that comes out and a TC. Here he is attacking MbL's wall. ACCM probably doing something at home. Doesn't notice. Boop. Yep, there's the TC and there's the Monastery. So didn't notice that. MbL's scout sees the Spearman and sees the Archers. So he was probably curious. He didn't know what the choice was going to be. So now the game is to try and use your scouts to take out monks as they go for relics. Okay. There's TC number 1. TCs are cheap with Britons, so I could even expect TC number 2. But I'd say the difference right now is that ACCM will have a tougher time finding the monks. Also, doesn't have any upgrades. So, MbL does get melee armor for free in this age, so it could actually fight the spears off a little bit easier. And MbL, he recognizes the Teutons resist conversion. He doesn't see a lot of army. And so he's going to go for siege, and he's going to go for monks. I think MbL might go somewhat all in here. Now, I'd like to see Scorpions from him. He's going for the Mangonel. Scorpions are going to be more helpful, I think, overall, but Mangonel has the most potential, and if MbL can keep them alive, then he can actually start to destroy ACCM later. MbL won the first game. T90 Titans League. And right now, looking for the monk. Should know the relic's gone. Not sure if there's much he can do about this one, though. You do not want to sacrifice the scouts. Pay attention to if MbL adds the second town center, because it's decision-making time for him. Where the siege workshop's positioned would normally tell me that he's going to play defensive. Oh, it's a big shot. Didn't get any kills. Okay, gets a kill now, and these are weak. Yeah, MbL could clear this, I think. He'll obviously want to run home and heal up. But yeah, so like the defensive siege workshop normally tells me MbL wants to boom. But also, these players are really close together. So I guess you could kind of use the siege workshop as a super offensive push or a defensive one. CCM, I think he saw the siege there and just backs away now. I really like the idea of going scouts with Britons. I think that's a lot more helpful with the overall relic war. At the end of the day, it's not the end of the world for ACCM if he only gets one relic, though. Because I do think Britons can boom up and give Teutons a really hard time in early imp. Why are Scorpions more helpful? Well, they're cheaper, so you can use resources for other things. And you can easily pass through the crossbows and the spearmen, whereas, you know, it's easier to micro and avoid Mangonels. Now, did ACCM show me that? Nope. But that was my thought initially. I think it's a preference thing, and MbL now on 3 TCs, trying to catch up in that economy. And I think it's a pretty even game, right? Because MbL has more control, he's applying more pressure, he might get more relics for ACCM. ACCM has the higher Vil count, adding some siege now defensively. And yeah, now MbL knows that ACCM is moving out. But I think ACCM just wants to delay this. I honestly don't think he can comfortably move out. He does have Bodkin Arrow, but look at MbL. He's like, okay, let's trap that army. Let's kill it. And ACCM's like, nope. I'm going right back home. He's got one spearman. Interesting. Oh, I guess, I mean, in total it's 4. He just wants a couple spears. It's fine. Now MbL probably feels a little bit baited. But I like the choice of the outpost. He also was able to see that there's a siege workshop for ACCM. And yeah, MbL has 2 relics. I think the third's on the way back. There it is. He should probably get 4 here. Do we know what ACCM stands for? Good question. I never actually asked that question to ACCM before. I don't know if anyone else knows the answer. But as we see, TC number 4 for ACCM. Wow. Ooh. Okay, Monk down, and Siege will go down as well. Great move from ACCM. MbL couldn't ACC him. That obviously slows any potential offensive push for MbL. 8 range for the crossbow, 7 range for the mangonel. So in theory, you could just do that again, but there's also knights and scouts, so it is very confident. I do know ACCM's first name is Huang, which is kind of funny. It's apparently like Huang in Vietnam is like the name John in the US. Like, it's a very well-known name. And I think that's interesting because he'll like be up against Huang and be like, no, not Huang. And that's his own name. Oh, where are you going, dude? Oh my god. Oh, the split. There'll be another shot he needs to split against. Whoop. Wow. Fortunate. These are very weak here. Oh god. He doesn't lose any again. And he's still trying to get it, but I would just say back away. You're giving me all sorts of issues here. Yeah, it's not bad because he can just heal up now. MbL about to rush to the Imperial Age, though. He's just clicked up to the Imperial Age. He's adding another TC now. It's interesting how he goes... You know, I thought he would go Imp forward Castle, but the town centers cost stone, so... At the same time, I guess he wants to do the same thing. He's adding more to stone. Keep in mind, a lot of these crossbows are weak, and also I don't know what server these two would play on, but I doubt it's super low ping, right? It's not like a European player versus European player with super low ping, so some of the micro might be more difficult. I've asked him on his stream. He said ACCM doesn't stand for anything. He just invented it. Ah, interesting. And ACCM probably saw MbL's score dip. And if he saw MbL's score dip, that should tell him MbL's up. And now he's dropping a castle here. Yeah, and he's completely idled his town centers. I would not want to play Siege War against MbL. And I would not put my villagers out in the open. But also, I'm not ACCM. And boom! Boom! What are you doing? There he goes. He clicks up. Castle should complete. MbL will be happy with that, though. He did kill some vills. Killing 3 vills isn't the end of the world. And let's see if MbL has a university. Yes, he does. So I think he wants to go for bombard cannons and trebuchets. The downside being is that his castle will... Well, actually, I think his castle is going to be perfectly timed. Let's see. What happens first? Castle or imp? I think the castle will be up just before he hits imp. Another game where ACCM really wants stone. And he's not going to be able to get it. He's got this stone. And my theory was that we were going to see a lot more early imp pushes, a lot more siege pushes on this type of a map gen. Boom! Nice attack round from MbL because of how close the players are and how there's always that stone and gold forward. Now, the Briton player will get additional range on their crossbows, and this is the unit type that I felt would be hard to counter. ACCM, though, looking to get shots in before, and oh! Splits, easy kill, well played. MbL doesn't have a single armor upgrade, right? So it's not like, oh! He's crazy, man. He's crazy. But he's confident. He knows, like, MbL might upgrade these things. Going for pikemen now is ACCM. So ACCM's thinking MbL might go into more knights. But MbL's just going to go full siege and castles here. I'm wondering if MbL will go for crenellations. I forget the cost. It's not cheap, especially if he has to repair a castle. This map control for MbL, though, is beautiful. Being faster to the Trebor. He's got 5 town centers producing vills, so he should have a really big boom behind it. And it's a sucky spot for ACCM because he has these crossbows, which can take out the siege, which can take out knights, but he can't really use them because the castle's there. And MbL can take his stone. He's actually going to place another castle and then take that stone. But wait a second. Does that mean he's not going to repair this one? Because he doesn't have any villagers here. I guess in the end, he's going to be mining more stone. He's denied this stone for a while. But bombard cannons would have the same range as the arbalest from Britons. So it does get tricky here. ACCM will probably try and snipe these things. And MbL sees it. Attack round. Nope. And nope. MbL gets away for now. 2 bombard cannons, more on the way for MbL. 135 pop for ACCM. And again, MbL just so good at getting value and just keeping these things alive. Imagine if he can keep his castle up without even having to repair it. That would be massive. I mean, ACCM is just... He's out of stone, guys. He's out of stone. He didn't have a market either, so he can't buy it. MbL's push is working really well right now. ACCM is just at the limit. And MbL with a big shot! A massive shot on the crossbows. And I don't know if he'll have any crossbows remaining. And if he can ever push this back. Another big shot for MbL. Now the Trebs are exposed. And yeah, Britons can get Warwolf and all these technologies. Now without a castle. This push from MbL has looked so clean. He'll snipe another Treb, backs away. I think he only lost one Bombard Cannon here. And meanwhile, he sits at home with the relics. 29 to 9 KD. He's even making a couple Teutonic Knights right now, which seems completely unnecessary. Maybe it's a flex, who knows. And now he drops a bunch of archery ranges. And he just knows, like, his castles keep him in this game. ACCM is so stuck, and ACCM cannot deal with this at all. Now, poor ACCM, he's like, well, okay, let's try and get value, right? He did actually get to this stone, which maybe he could have found earlier. And he's going to take that stone. My issue for ACCM is how does he defend himself if MbL drops another castle? And the counterattack idea was the right move, but wouldn't you know it, MbL's castle is there. Any of the Arbalest go down. MbL now knows ACCM doesn't have his Arbs at home. Waltz forward with another castle. Crenellations would be such a massive upgrade from here. I don't see what ACCM can do, honestly, even without Crenellations. He has to try to micro down the Bomber Cannons. That's what he has to do. Because the Arbs can do it. He hasn't been able to get the kills that he wants. He's trying. Has to respect so much siege. Now even the skirms. Yeah, once the castle's up, he needs something to deal with it. MbL's going to get Crenellations in 3, 2, 1. Oh, he clicked conscription. I was close, though. I was really close. It was probably a misclick. Oh, no, he had conscription in already. I'm dumb. What is it, 12 range on your castles with conscription? Or not, God. With, crap. Oh, God. Now it's not even out of my brain. Crenellation, sorry. I think it's heavy stone. I think it's 400 stone, maybe 600 wood or something. Honestly, kind of poor from MbL not to notice this. There it is. There's Crenellations. But also, you never want to stop pushing with your main push, so I can understand that. ACCM has more villagers. He has more army. If the castles weren't there, ACCM would mop MbL up, but he's using that castle. ACCM now has a castle way far away from this getting conscription, so we can then eventually make Trebs too. But yeah, now that Crenellations is in, this just hurts so much. And I think MbL can just keep creeping in with castles. ACCM snipes one Bombard Cannon. Doesn't quite get the other one. The castle, oh, it's killing so much. What a technology, by the way. I love this technology. MbL sees this now, so he says, oh, that's not good. We'll actually drop our castle here. Now, in the meantime, guys, what MbL's been doing is getting his economy right. 5 minutes ago, he had 18 farms. Now he's got 52. And while Teuton skirms aren't the best skirms, it is something. And yeah, this castle will be tough for ACCM to deny. I mean, he could try and castle here and then go for Trebs. Well, snipe some Bombard Cannons. Okay, ACCM. He sniped quite a few of those, but MbL is just taking his time. Getting the upgrades for Paladin. Slowly building up his economy. Where does ACCM build that next castle? That's the question for me. I think he... to win, I think he has to build it here. Okay, skirms and Trebs against the Arbs. Alba's now coming in. We'll have full armor for ACCM. And for MbL, he's just trading against gold units, and he's fine with that. Meanwhile, he's trying a full-on tech switch, which will take some time. Not taking any stone right now, MbL. Few Teutonic Knights in action. Hype, let's go. Very good against Halbs. Not against archers, though, so they're going to die. MbL now checking this out. Sees that ACCM has a town center. ACCM is stuck. We know that. But he is massing trebs, and he is getting siege engineers. And the score is close because ACCM has a really good army count right now. And he still, I think, would have the better army if the castles weren't there. Trying his best to make light cav against skirms, which is a good play. Nice little meat shield, though armor upgrades are needed. MbL drops another castle. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 castles in the middle right now. ACCM has the trebs. If ACCM can start this now, you never know. There's 4 trebs. I always talk about how that's the magic number. MbL is making Cavalier, though. So if MbL could just get the cav over here, he could, in theory, snipe the trebuchets. I think MbL not taking this stone is the biggest surprise of the game for me. Everything else, you know, he figured it out, but he didn't have stone, so he's losing position. Perhaps allowing ACCM to push back out here. Also, would love to see the Werewolf technology for ACCM, but he's actually out of gold now. He doesn't even have his relic, so he's stuck at 102 gold. This is a cool arena game. Would you guys agree? This is really cool. We have so many castle drops. The market prices are pretty good, so ACCM continues to sell. At this point, it's probably just for blacksmith upgrades. MbL has 152 villagers, but what is the 152 villagers going to bring him if it's not... Again, it was the castles that were the key. Just Cavalier? I don't know. I mean, there's not the biggest ball of arbs. There's not the biggest mass of halbs yet. And he does have some skirms which can help against all of that. But I think MbL will be disappointed that he didn't try and repair those castles, that he didn't mine the stone, because we know he had the time. He could take this stone, though. Oh, man. MbL. He very much wants to take out the trebs right now. It's not easy for Teutons to maneuver around with the Cavalier, though. He's stuck on Cavalier. I don't think he can go for Paladin. It would take too much time. He doesn't have the time. He needs the numbers. ACCM is actually pushing. ACCM takes the fight. You know, MbL doesn't have much in the way of Cavalier. He does have a good Q, but he doesn't have many Cavalier. They're going to be on the way here. Can someone tell me if Werewolf was in for ACCM? Right now, I'm leaning with no. 152 villagers for MbL. 200 population for MbL. But does he have too many villagers? 29 Cavalier in Q out of these stables. If he could maybe get more stables. The bombard cannon's down. ACCM's at the limit still. He doesn't have gold. So he's selling his wood desperately for gold. And MbL is trying his best to snipe the arbs every time he sees them. The skirmisher is actually the most important unit right here for MbL. And has he done it, actually? Has he done it? Suddenly the Paladin or the Cavalier number's getting higher. He actually had stables here, forgive me. ACCM thought he was going to be able to take these resources. The skirms are here. The Cavalier are enough. There's only 20 arbs. ACCM has to hide with the arbalest. And if he has to hide with the arbalest, MbL has just been able to hold on, I think. It was risky, but ultimately his plan... And by the way, now you could probably cancel some cav and go for Paladin if you want to, MbL. Ultimately, his plan worked out. He held the map for long enough. I'm sure the gold from the relics was helpful here. All the extra golds, too. There's no way for ACCM to get out of this now. And it certainly looked risky. Yeah, now I think he's canceling Cavalier so he can get Paladin. Now he knows he has the time. But man, I mean, the KD for MbL tells the whole story. He had just been killing units, trading effectively, mainly with skirms. I think skirm will be his most graded unit this game. And when you're comparing skirmishers and talking about what's good and what's bad, the worst skirmishers are the skirmishers that don't have the armor. So not having the attack, that doesn't hurt you as much because the skirms do a lot of bonus damage with their attack. And it's really about how tanky they are. Can't help but feel for ACCM. Obviously, the previous game he could have won, guys. I think it was an overextension on his part. And now here, his back is up against the wall. Everything's going through his mind about how complicated this group is going to be, all the other players he'll have to face. Obviously, there will be one more game played after this regardless, but it just feels like, you know, the next moment he has to look at his population, that's when he probably resigns. 120 pop. Paladin could also tell him that this game is over. MbL's got this one. Yeah, fair point. MbL makes skirms a lot. MbL loves to make his trash units. He's a very unique player. And yeah, now Paladin's in. And yeah, there's a lot of helps. And MbL's skirm number is dwindling a little bit. But still Paladin, as we say, is Paladin. Look at the Trebs, by the way. Boom. The Trebs actually have, guys, the Trebs have 17 kills. The Trebs have some interesting stats down here. Somehow killed 2 villagers as well. That's not bad, though. Anything to whittle down that Arbalest number is going to be the key. And yeah, this is over. This is the final fight of the game. MbL wins 2 straight first rounds. One more game to be played, obviously, but a great game from him, and Teutons worked out. Now, I'm trying to think about what ACCM could have done differently. And honestly, I think he just needed to have more map control in Castle Age. I can't think of what he could have done differently in Castle Age if he doesn't have that map control, instead of, except maybe having a faster Imperial Age. If he has a faster Imperial Age, I think he could maybe do it. He did add the 4th town center, which does sink a little bit more food into Vil production. So maybe that was the regret, but I mean, MbL just played it super well. We do have to move on quickly to the next game. I'm actually on a bit of a time crunch here. I'll briefly show you MbL's resources collected, though. We have one more game. I think that's going to be on Arabia. MbL with a lot of food and gold that game. ACCM somehow got the stone. I guess it was the other stones that MbL didn't deny from him. But guys, we've got MbL playing as the Mayans. He's probably feeling good right now. He won 2 games. Even if he were to lose this one, I think he'd be feeling really nice. And ACCM, I feel like you kind of need this one, right? Like, he will have, after MbL, Dogao, Tato, Nikov, and Bad Boy. And of those names, all of those names should be a challenge. I think the least challenge for him would maybe be Bad Boy, because he seems to be the inferior player in Vietnam. ACCM, I think, the best player in Vietnam right now. They play a lot together. They've strategized. I think ACCM will have his number. But the way it works, again, is fairly simple. You play against everyone in your group 3 games. And then if you're in the bottom 2 at the end, you're out for next season. If you're 4th place, you stay alive for next season. And if you're top 3, you move on to fight within knockout brackets against all the other players that move on. And potential for a lot of prize pool and prestige. So, again, I think ACCM losing 3 games here would be a really rough start to his series. And he has gone for the Aztecs. MbL's Mayans. And MbL loves to lame. MbL with an Eagle Warrior is like, you can't really compare it to any other player. MbL is insanely strong with Eagles. Any type of scout, he gets a lot of value from it. And this is a Civ matchup we actually don't see a lot these days because of how the drafts work, right? Like, when's the last time you saw Aztecs versus Mayans in a tournament? It's probably been a little while. But yeah, it is a matchup we used to see all the time. Probably we'll see a lot more, at least in the group stage here, before we implement more bans. And it used to be Aztecs was the best. I think I would prefer the Mayans, though it's very close. I don't think either Civ has a massive edge here. MbL does see this elephant, chooses not to steal it. Probably would be a risk. Just wants to find out what ACCM's up to. We saw ACCM's wood. Saw ACCM's gold. Sees the stone now. Good scouting from MbL. Would have loved to have seen Hindustanis. They wreck Mayans. I think they do if they get to Gulams, but I'm not even sure about that, Frankie boy, because I still believe in plumed archers. I would agree, though, that Hindustanis are a pretty good pick. What I like about Hindustanis right now, and I do think they'll have to see a tweak because I think they're too strong, but there's not a lot of civs that can be good against Mezzo, but also good against strong knight civs. Probably just the Gurjaras and Hindustanis, honestly. So, Yeah, I agree the Hindustanis would have been good. But I think Aztecs is probably the safe choice. T90, will you cast Leary vs. Slam? Leary vs. Slam, I'll try and cast tonight. That was something I was hoping on casting, but we have somewhere to go today. Back to have to leave in a half hour, so hopefully this isn't one of the patented MbL 3-hour games where they're fighting for wood. But yeah, I'm going to go do whatever, eat dinner, relax, come back, cast Leary vs. Slam. So I don't know what time that'll be, but that's what I'll be doing. Yeah, MbL hasn't really been laming in tourneys much recently, but I think in that instance there, Randy, you'd never want to lame. I think if you would have seen the elephant on the front, it would have been fine. He is known for his walls. Mayans are also known for their cheaper walls, so MbL quickly walls up this side and is also going for full walls in front of his gold right now. Aztecs, definitely the favored civ if you're going to be going for man-at-arm aggression, because they start with 50 more gold at the start of the game. There's the barracks already for ACCM, so I'm expecting a little bit more aggression from ACCM, and then more defense for MbL, and I'm expecting him to play into archers here. But yeah, I mean, he might be fully walled. Like, this guy's walling with 4 villagers right now. This is why people drush MbL, because they need to get some pressure in before he gets his walls down. I think someone updated Liquipedia results too quick, so you can see the score of the set. Yep, don't look at Liquipedia. I'm kind of annoyed by that, but I have to talk to them. I haven't actually talked to anyone. There's a lot of people in the community who run that stuff, right? This set like happened within the last couple hours, right? So I see no reason why things should be up there already. But apparently it's a complicated issue because I spoke to Robo about it, and he was like, "Well, it's gonna get updated." I was like, "Well, why? If I'm casting it 2 hours later because I'm casting other sets, why?" Yeah. For the rest of the event, I'd recommend not looking at Liquipedia unless I clarify otherwise. I understand you not knowing that. Also, these villagers are bugged. There you go. Thing is, you can pressure walls, though. ACCM has decided against it. He actually made 1 militia, which is here. And he's decided against trying to make more. But I feel like a lot of players would still go for the man-at-arms. They would still try and pressure the walls. Especially here, because you would have a hill bonus against the house. It's a really good spot to attack. But yeah, MbL walls up. Honestly, though, guys, what's his plan? Because he doesn't have a barracks yet. He can't go for an archer range. He's on gold, but he can't do anything with it. So I guess even if you just open archers, you could start to pressure that gold. Okay, here we go. Now, ACCM will lose his eagle, but I love his scouting. He knows MbL has 1 gold in here. He does see that MbL has a stone here. So you start counting. You see main gold, 4 tile gold, 5 tile stone, and what's left would be 4 tile stone, which he just found, and then another 4 tile gold. Honestly, wouldn't hate a tower in this position. But man, ACCM's actually even making skirms, guys. He's going eagle skirm. Both of which feels a little unnecessary, I guess. I would have preferred to see him open archers. Man, what a passive game. ACCM has played enough games against MbL where he knows MbL can get by without making army, and he just refuses to overinvest into army, I guess. But yeah, since this is a wreck, and this game is pretty slow, and I don't know how long it goes and what happens, and I do have somewhere to be, I'm actually just going to go 2 times speed for now, guys. Sorry about that. It's incredibly disappointing that I have a life outside of Age of Empires, I know. But I did make commitments, so I'd prefer to keep them. MbL's eagle could also go down, but he has now added a range, so he is going to go archers, which ACCM was expecting, so now he has the skirms. But in the end, I mean, it's just 1 militia, so we'll see if ACCM can actually break through. Skipping the foreplay. Yeah, you can do that from time to time, right? Also, great job from MbL. He actually brought the weak eagle back, is healing it in the TC, and replaced it with another eagle. That's really smart thinking there. Well, he didn't know MbL had no range because his eagle died inside. But I think he was expecting MbL to go archers, and now he's going to go archers and skirms. So, overall, making MbL respect this. But MbL is going to have fletching, which ACCM isn't going to get. And I think this definitely reached a point where ACCM said, yeah, there's no way. There's no way I'm going to be able to break him. And wow. Sells his stone. Is going to rush to Castle H. Did notice that MbL got fletching, so now he's worried and now he's running home. But this is going to be an all-in eagle play, and I think with MbL's gold, it's not a bad play. I think the most important thing would be, can he get siege down? And then obviously will MbL get some pressure in here. To keep up with the game chat, we also need to chat 2 times faster. No, I'm not going to do that today. I'm trying to stay more relaxed. T90, do you still get smackers from Twitch? I just realized my Prime sub needs assignment. I do still get smackers. If you wish to smack my Twitch, you can smack my Twitch. Still all comes to me. Thank you. It's hilarious, though. And okay, I think MbL notices this is going to be some type of an all-in. And what a great decision to stonewall. Wow, what a great decision. Now, he'll lose his archers, which is not so good. But the stonewalling idea was fantastic. And I'll actually slow down now. And there you go. The archers go down. So MbL will have very little army. But that did buy him some time to get the stone walls down. He's getting Bodkin arrow. He's taking the stone over here. Now, if I'm ACCM, and just to be clear, I'm not ACCM, so, you know, in case that you were confused. If I'm ACCM, I see that MbL has stone walls, and I send my ranged units over to that stone because of the scouting. Now, I don't know if he'll think of that. He might want all of his army in the same spot. But to me, it would make a lot of sense to siege push this hill. And it'd make a lot of sense to send the archers and the skirmishers over to the stone. It's not going to kill MbL, but it'll do something. Oh, wait, did he see that castle? He did see MbL's making a castle. Okay. His stone walls are up. Let's slow down the speed, right? Well, MbL's going to make plumed archers. He will protect his golds. And now ACCM has decided that he can't do damage with siege. And ACCM is instead going to go forward on this side with the siege. Wow, okay. Now, sometimes you just have to accept that you're not going to be able to do anything. And you have to instead go, oh, MbL's looking for it. ACCM! ACCM! This is 200 wood down the drain! He's going to lose the villager. Oh! My God, that's so important. Don't lose the... No! No! I think the villager got stuck, guys. So I've had this happen before. Watch this for a second. So pathing in Age of Empires is weird. And every time there's a patch, they say they fixed it, right? Okay, so right here. So he gets the walls down, right? And then he realizes, oh my God, MbL is going to attack that palisade. Watch the villager just get stuck and hold his hammer and not know what to do. Ready? Here, right here, and he clicks it there. I guarantee you, he clicked that palisade wall, and it just didn't do it in the moment he needed it. I would have to ask ACCM later, but now that's at 40%. He can obviously complete it, but it's wasted time. It gives MbL time, and MbL also is going to be on 2 town centers. Same with ACCM. ACCM did just also buy some stone back, so he's going to be on his TCs, and this game could go late. And he also is getting the relics right now, which is amazing with the Aztecs because you get 33% more gold per relic. So let's see. Again, I could be wrong on that, but that can happen sometimes. And I think that is just... It's just MbL making his own luck, I guess, right? I think it's when you click the unit, not the wall. It's fine if you hit the repair hotkey first. Now, you shouldn't ever have to press repair there, right? Because it's not a repair. I don't even know if a repair hotkey... If the repair hotkey works, if you're not repairing. At least I never do that. I think if you click a unit, it no longer has the hammer. Anyways, long story short, MbL, we're very happy to see that. And Plumed Archer is the one unit you want in this type of a battle. If it were to become Eagle be Eagle, the Eagle, obviously, Mayans actually have the superior Eagles in a 1v1 fight. But you would want to have plumes and eagles because you are going to need some answer to the champions or the Jaguar warriors for the Aztecs. And again, this is just Siege Workshop now. It's like the whole point of it is ruined. And at the time, they didn't really have the wood for much else, right? So if he would have gone for no siege workshop, would have saved the villager, and then also would have had the TCs. This is a tale as old as time, man. Lions with plumed archers. Lions do have a good economy as well, and right now it seems like MbL is intentionally staying on 2 TCs. This whole army for ACCM is looking for damage, and they're just not sure where to go. Meanwhile, MbL, he's got some siege. I think MbL will walk forward, maybe drop a castle here. I think forward at ACCM's base is a little too ambitious. There's a town center now for ACCM, who will, in theory, get a Vil lead. And he also has Elite Skirmisher, which can be helpful against the archers from MbL, but also helpful against the plumes. But I'm still not sure how helpful, because he doesn't have any armor upgrades yet. Plumed archers do additional bonus, they do +1 bonus damage against infantry, which means they're good against eagles. And then skirmishers, if they don't have armor, get melted. MbL knew this. His KD's looking better and better here. He also has Vils, and he also has some siege on this side. Also, the plumed archer is running through the mangonel. Oh! There he goes. Obviously, MbL was microing on this side. That was really funny. He probably just moved them together. I don't know if ACCM can deny this castle. I see what MbL was trying to do. He was trying to build the castle more offensively. But I think in the end, he just builds the castle on the hill. I feel like it's a really important hill to control. 24 to 16 KD for him. ACCM does have 2 relics. Might struggle to get the other ones, honestly. Might get away with this. We'll see. MbL still doesn't even have the stone yet. Is he actually going to walk forward and build the castle here? You have skirms over here. Out of position, but also in position at the same time, right? Because they're denying resources from MbL. And that might actually tell MbL he can drop the castle here. No way! That's so gutsy. That is so gutsy with only 1 mangonel and a couple plumed archers. But man, is that going to look good. This plume group as well could get out of here. And that castle going up denies a very important gold from MbL, from ACCM. Also gives MbL access to the gold and also to the stone. And I guess the downside is you don't have this controlled, but you kind of do because all your production is in that area. We have ballistics now for ACCM. He was fortunate to complete his university. So his skirms are going to be stronger with full Castle Age armor being in. And also with ballistics, but there's also siege. You dig the logo for the event? Nice. Yeah, Keegan did a really good job on it. I like it. And this is such a rough position to be in. Because MbL is just forcing you to react constantly. You're unable to do damage against him. What would be epic is if we saw ACCM come forward and drop a castle here and go siege and bust an MbL's base or something, but there could be some weaknesses there. ACCM trying to save his Vils. I like the stone wall behind. You don't want this to be an issue. And I also like the choice of redemption, so now he can convert siege. So let's see. Also, Aztec Monk's pretty tanky here. But ACCM needs everything to go right. He's going to convert both Scorpions. MbL realizes. Deletes that one. And now suddenly it's all about Plume Micro from MbL, who is realizing that the skirms have good upgrades too, so MbL runs away. Such a good decision from MbL to just bail on this. A lot of players would be stubborn, but MbL could always take this gold. He doesn't need this one right now, and he just clicks up to the Imperial Age. Also, you know, the skirm monk play, normally it works well if you're in one spot. I know this is funny. MbL has to delete the workshop. So the plumed archer is able to switch over here. Look how fast the plumes kill the eagles. That's with full Castle Age armor. Plumed archers are so good. And they're fast as well, so they can run away from any bad fights. MbL loves his Arabia. He now knows that plumed archers are good, but maybe not great in the long term against Aztecs, because Aztecs do have the Atlatl skirm upgrade, which gives him even more range. And it wouldn't surprise me if MbL just runs right back into his base here, because he knows the skirms are repositioning. Instead, he's going to loop around. I don't mind that decision. Oh, also, MbL has 2 petards in here. So he could bust through this wall right now. He could be through an ACCM. What a weird spot to be in. On one hand, this is a great castle because it helps you treb down MbL's castle, denies the stone, denies the gold. But then MbL can come from the other side. I love it when towers and castles come into play on Arabia because it just makes the game so interesting. You get to talk about positions a lot. Instead of just execution, I like position. We actually added more hills, but not like tiny hills. But the hills that do happen on the map in the middle tend to be a bit larger on this version of Arabia. We just wanted map control to be more of a focus. And this is a nasty hill for MbL to defend. But he will be an imp faster. So he could make trebs from both castles. Here, ACCM sees an opportunity to snipe the siege. I love that move because now his skirms could get some value. So here he goes. MbL, though, has plumes on the other side. ACCM forced to react to that. All ACCM wants to focus on is the middle right now. MbL losing his plumes. ACCM with 1,600 gold. He re-walls it. MbL trying to flee. Quick walls. ACCM. Unfortunately, 1 or 2 plumes will get away. But ACCM is killing MbL's plumed archers. It is 100 population versus 105. Obviously, ACCM later to imp, though. Now, does ACCM have anything that can kill the trebs? The answer is no right now. But does MbL have anything that can kill the skirms? Kind of. But he's just now getting imp upgrades. He doesn't have Elite Eagle yet, which is a big no-no. He doesn't have imp armor yet. But he does also have a lot of eagles, and the potential is going to be there. So actually, what you would want, if you see eagles, if you're Aztecs, is you would want to have Jaguar Warriors out of your castle. But you're stuck because you need to have Trebs out of your castle. Otherwise, you're going to lose the Treb War. Really tricky spot to be in. Both players kind of at the limit with resources, but MbL is in the better spot with his balance. He only has 8 on wood. Obviously, you sometimes want more, but he's got tons on gold. He's got a ton of farms. And considering Elite Eagle, as MbL could lose his Treb to a conversion? No way. No way. 2 monks. Oh, he gets it. He gets it. That's one way to win a Treb war. Convert the Trebs. But uh-oh, MbL's on the other side. He's also trying to escape. We'll see if ACCM tracks that. And now ACCM loses the Treb. Oh, man, what a funny game. Remember, MbL, he really needed this stone. So he can't really repair that long in the Treb war. So he is over here. He could always shift over to this stone. I saw he scouted it. But he's going for the golds on the right side right now. Now, Elite Eagle Warrior's in for ACCM. He already has that. MbL's about to get it. And once MbL gets it, his eagles are then the stronger of the 2. At least for now. We'll see what upgrades come in. He is the imp armor, which is always the key. And he's catching up with the attack right now. Would love to see MbL, honestly, just wall in front of this. Just wall in front of this and don't worry about it. Guys, I can't help but feel like ACCM's position is too awkward to defend. He can get hit over here. MbL broke another hole through. He's getting hit over here. He will go in and he will take out this trebuchet. That's an important moment. But it is MbL who's dictating the pace of the game right now. He's the one who's raiding a bit more. His position seems to be stronger, but that would all change if he loses this castle. And then ACCM could take this gold. Can you imagine if ACCM noticed MbL ran to the right side? And can you imagine if he noticed his farming eco was getting wrecked? Because both players are losing vills, but MbL's on the main farming eco. ACCM didn't realize this. Oh no, 100 pop. The thing is, MbL's pop isn't that great either. If he notices, he could be fine. But MbL goes for the great wall on the right side. And it's a good move, too, because if ACCM gets over there, it's a problem. He has very little to protect this, very little to protect this. MbL could lose 20 villagers if the raids get in. ACCM needs to head towards the golds right now. Like 6 months ago, if you had scouted a gold, you could tell someone was taking it by the animations. And I had been talking about that for a long time, so did other people. And the devs finally removed that. So here come the eagles, and oh my god! Guys, ACCM needs this win, man. If he loses 2-1, it's not that big a deal. He got a win on the board. He can go into the other sets and fight hard. This is going to be a super competitive group. Their populations are so low for an Imperial Age game. But now MbL on this gold. It's just a race for raids right now. Who can raid the others fast enough? MbL did complete some of the walls. And will probably deal with this right now. I love this, though. I mean, this forward, not only does it protect the gold, but it just keeps ACCM focused. And ACCM at 30 villagers. MbL will even pick off more right now. This won't work. MbL will kill that Vill. MbL maybe will complete the walls. At least he should be able to defend it. That relic gold is really adding up right now for ACCM, but he's at 60 Vills. Or 60 pop, excuse me. 60 population, 30 army, 30 villagers. We knew it was going to catch up with somebody at some point, and it just caught up with ACCM. Ah, sad times for him, man. MbL will snipe this Treb. I think at this point, ACCM will realize he's got nothing. He probably has looked back over here. He pulled the villagers into garrison and then looked and saw it was 4. Probably an awful feeling. He is still killing villagers here. He's still only 40 population behind. He does have good Eagle Warrior numbers, so if you could hit the right positions, you never know. But MbL's farming eco is more solid. Even though he doesn't have this gold and skirms are running into his base, he does have the golds on the right. He just needed to complete the walls. I don't even think they will be completed, but... And the rare Eagle v Eagle early imp play. And man, was it close. Yeah, look at... He's selling stone to probably buy food at this point. And made a Jaguar Warrior, which will be helpful, but he can't afford many of those. 190 kills for MbL. At this point, he should have the Eagle Mask. He just needs to wait it out. Does actually have the Eagle Mask, because some of the military for ACCM was skirmishers, so... MbL doesn't really care about skirmishers. This is an even trade-off of military, but I don't think ACCM can make many more. MbL could also get more upgrades still, and wow, ACCM's at 40 pop. Oh, quick wallet, quick wallet, quick wall! Oh, he's gonna lose a 30th of his population. Disaster. Still trying, though. I don't know, like, I'm laughing because I don't know if I've ever seen a player this low of a pop playing on and have it make some type of sense. Because he's got relics. MbL's population is not that high either. But eco is going to be the most important thing. Also, what is this barracks, MbL? That's so funny. Why make a gate when you can just save resources and make the barracks as part of your wall? Would you guys say that 3-0 is really a good... that 3-0 explains how close this set has been? Or would you say that it does MbL some favors here? I mean, ultimately, MbL is the better player here. He starts off the group stage with a 3-0, which is massive, man. Which is massive for him. 120 bucks in total, but also means that he goes in with a healthy lead over potentially some of the other players in the group. I thought that ACCM could have won one of those games. This felt like a 2-1 in terms of closeness, but MbL, anytime he started to have some problems, was able to figure it out. Game number 1 was the example for me. Game number 1 was a game where ACCM had a nice position. MbL all of a sudden moves out with skirmishers and villagers, pushes it back, able to take advantage of some pushing in the middle there. Interesting game here. I mean, very MbL things. You had the walls. ACCM trying to figure out how to punish the walls. I think this castle was the key. It would have been a different game if MbL placed that castle here. But in the end, he was able to deny his opponent's gold. And he was not allowing ACCM to take much of this gold. If you just think of the golds that players were able to take in this game, ACCM, it was his main gold, which was here, and then this gold, which I think was a neutral. There was probably one more, I think, here, right? So 3 gold spots. MbL had 1. We're not going to count this because he didn't really have much of it. 2, and then I think 3, 4. And so we'll probably see that reflected in the total resources here. Apparently not, but he did also have more food and more wood income, which I think helps him. Sometimes you see the market used, but yeah, it was a really close game. ACCM will have to play. I don't know who he's playing next, but both players, I guess, have to run through some other players in the group. We've got Nikov, Tato, Bad Boy, and then Dogal. Those are big names. At the conclusion of the group, the bottom two do get relegated down to gold for next season. So, group of death, many people are calling it, even though all the groups are competitive. MbL must be so happy with that result.